bbno Money is a Canadian rapper born in, I believe, Vancouver, who started his career in about 2014. So he's been on the internet for about 12 years now. He's about 30 years old, so that kind of puts him at about, what, 18 when he started his career? So it's pretty good. So enough about bbno Money. I'm sure we all know generally who he is. I'm going to talk about the kind of stuff that's surrounding him, the negative stuff, the controversy, the drama. bbno Money has recently caught a lot of backlash regarding his whole situation with commissioning artists. Another reason why he's caught some controversy, not really a lot of controversy, just mainly criticism, is the fact that he seems to milk trends in order to gain traction. Obviously, that's natural, but it's to the extent where it feels soulless in its own way. So bbno Money has been doing cosplays, he's been commissioning artists, so as I just said, he's been getting a lot of drama about these things. Usually you think, oh, he's been doing cosplays, he's paying artists. Isn't that a good thing? Why is he getting backlash? Well, first of all, I just said he's been milking trends. That's mainly why. It's mainly just he's cringe for milking trends. So enough about bbno Money's cosplays, because like I said, it's just cringe milking for content. We're going to go over some more serious stuff, like doing commissions for art. So this is the first artist that, or I guess two artists that we're going to talk about here about a bbno Money not paying properly. As you can see from this, I'm going to go into the original thing just to make sure, because it looks like there's a whole situation. So this person says, I was commissioned last year by a big artist I won't mention. It was an animation meme. Since it was an unreleased song, I had to come up with the animation myself, so I did. It took me 4 days to finish. They offered me $100 as thanks. I haven't stated my prices yet, so I assume that's how pricing goes. But I was saddened by it, and I asked my friends if it's okay. They said no, I should have asked if I can increase to at least double. They paid me $150, but I think it's very underpriced. My Facebook friends made me realize, I'm assuming that means Facebook, made me realize that I guessed I was just scared and blinded. Also, just to add, we talked about payment when the comm was done. I told them, oh no, I don't know. This is my first time getting commed, animation. Then they said, thank you. Can they send me $100 as thanks? And then I asked if we can up it a bit. It's a huge mistake. I was actually about to say at least 400, but when I saw that they offered me first, is that their budget? So I just up it a bit because I'm pretty sure they're commissioning other artists too, so I just went with 150. It was a 30-second animation. It's almost tweening, whatever that means, but well, they said I could do whatever I want with it, so I went crazy because wow, they're actually commissioning me, but I didn't really expect that they would pay that low. Maybe I'm just, man, I don't know. This person's definitely ranting, which is fine. I'm gonna try and understand what they're talking about. And well, doing that made me made me very burnt out on doing animation memes and drawing in general. I mean, I could have told them about the pricing, but I was so overwhelmed and happy. My English is so bad. Okay, so this also they don't speak English primarily. Um, but yeah, after that, I don't think I'll be doing comms for very bit. Okay, I'm assuming they mean I won't be just doing commissions for a bit unless they pay me fair. This has been bothering me for months. So let's. So there's this person here that we'll go into in a sec, but this person says, sorry if you don't get an agreed upon payment price before doing the work, it's on you. If you're pricing over $100 for your 1/32nd, you're the one responsible for communicating that. They said it's a very huge mistake of mine. I admit, I just really thought they would offer more. I got blinded by them and thought they'd actually pay me fair. So it's mainly just like, I find it's a lot of the artists being like, well, they offered me so little, but because it's them, I'm going to get more traction from it, or like it's just an honor to do it. And then they realize, damn, that took a lot of work. I actually should have asked for more because obviously it's low. $100 for a whole animation meme is very low. So like I said, there's people agreeing about it being low, and there's people saying like, it's on you for that, which that's mainly the response. It's whenever we see the whole situation where the artist got lowballed by bbno Money, because we know it's bbno Money, they're always saying, well, you should have said how much. We'll get into that in a second. So we're going to go into this because this is what I found initially. I don't think it's overly that crazy of a, it's not really a thread, but this person actually confirmed it was Baby No Money. And they also can confirm a ton of other people, including a friend of mine, only offering $100. And they said they offered your friend 100 as well. That's not okay. I mean, if they really wanted to support artists, they should offer more, offer what the artist deserves. My friends were also furious when they knew about it as well. They said, it's nice they let you do whatever you want, but $100 for an entire animation that also advertises your song feels icky. So basically, that's kind of the whole thing here. I once again, I had to search for this just because I kind of lost the tweet and I didn't like it, so I'm going to now just in case so I can find it again. But you have to search for these. You have to search. It's not really a thing because it's mainly people on Twitter. When it comes to the controversy, when you try to search for stuff, it's mainly, I don't know why people hate Baby No Money. Why people think he's cringe. Blah 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 blah. Fine, whatever. But it's drowning out the people who need their voices heard. And that's the whole point of me talking about this because I'm not seeing anything about it, and I think it needs to be talked about. So we're going to we're going to start with this. That is something that we'll get to in a second. So we're going to go over this. So this artist called Slade.coom is an adult artist, as they say, for the record, if you're an NSFW, don't collab with them. So they're confirming that they are. They got commissioned by Baby No Money, and we're going to go over the whole situation that happened, as this is pretty much the whole reason why I'm making this video, and I've wanted to for a bit since this initially came out. So we're going to start with some of the screenshots with the DMs. You can see some screenshots here, but I believe the video this here kind of shows everything. If it doesn't, we'll go over that in a second. But we're going to go over what they basically are going on about here in this thread. So they say, he only claimed to only force 50% of my rate for animation, which we'll see how much. Claimed he loved the animation, but refused to post or retweet it after realizing 3 months later that I was an NSFW artist. We'll confirm about whether or not that's true, even though I said multiple times that I was. Instead of only leaving a comment under my post, even though he posts directly or retweets other artists, that's when I tried to communicate with him about it with him when he ghosted completely. So like I said, we're not going to watch this. We are going to watch this because that they replied to this tweet, and it's basically his song. You know, him saying, "Me on my way to fight AS Slap and commission every real artist," and we see a community note saying, "For transparency, Baby No Money agreed to interact with the post of a finished product from an artist he commissioned and failed to do so. He also convinced the artist to lower the commission rate down to 50%. So let's watch the animation. I will turn the audio off because we know it's the same song. It doesn't matter. So halfway through, we already notice amazing effort put into it. So first of all, we get an opening shot of a tumbleweed rolling across a highway that goes to Brazil. We get I think they said we'll understand later, it's a warthog comes in. We get a nice pan shot here of it drifting. We got some jiggle physics with whoever this character is. We get that character, and then I think this is like chibi versions of Baby No Money behind, like chasing them as a wave. We got all this shaking. We get the pan shot of this, and we're gonna see that they got an animation of the machine gun going. More jiggle physics. That, and then this ending shot here. So it was technically 15 seconds of the animation. So we'll go over that there because I'm pretty sure it's the same kind of idea for everyone. It's like a 10 to 15 second audio clip that they want commissioned. So we're gonna look here about a group chat between Slade and Baby No Money, as well as their social media manager. April is her name. So we're going to start from the start here instead of looking at those screenshots because I want to just go from beginning to end. So we open here October 25th. Make sure to remember that in your brain. We kind of need to know this day. So October 25th, April opens saying, "Hi, I'm April, Alex's social media manager. Alex is bbno money. I'll be helping with questions and information, and Alex will pop in whenever he can." Slade says, "Awesome, it's great to meet you." They said, "Good to meet you too. What's your rate for a 10 to 15 second animation?" So Slade says, "For about 10 seconds, I usually charge $700, but I'm really excited for this project, so I'm happy to take a lower rate for the chance to work on something that isn't adult content." For $700 of an offer, this is the counter offer. Best we can do is $350 USD because of the 100 people we're commissioning. So if we break down here, this is a 15-second animation. I don't know how long it takes to work on a 15-second 3D animation, but we are going to see the amount of time it takes for them to actively work on it regarding like, figuring out the models and getting it animated and getting the shots done, stuff like that. $350 is way too little. Way too little. And my personal opinion is that instead of paying 100 people half the amount of money they usually commission for, pay 50 people the amount they need. Artists are doing this for a living. If I was an artist, I wouldn't be taking anything lower than my standard rate, regardless of whether it's a celebrity. Because if it's a celebrity, they should be able to afford my rate, if anything. And I'm doing it for them. I'm not doing it to get my own exposure. I'm doing this animation for them. They reached out to me. If it was a fan animation, sure. If I had time to do it, sure, absolutely. But that's not the case. They said, "Easy, I can do that, no problem." Alex mentioned something about an MFN clause in the agreement, so I just need to know the specific details and if there are any guidelines to adhere to. So they say, "For this animation, we would like it to be 10 to 15 seconds, a 9:16 ratio. It can include any version of Alex, whether it's him from a certain cosplay, music video, chibi Alex, or anything cool. You have full creative control, but we would like to see early stages of your progress for approval so we can see you're not making something inappropriate. You would have 2 to 3 weeks to complete, and it would be to his song, Come to Brazil." They're paying this artist $350 to finish a 3D animation that's 10 to 15 seconds long within 2 to 3 weeks. So they're expecting it to be done by mid-November. They say, "I need the 3D model of Alex and a 3D model of Chibi, if you have it, the one he had made by that other artist, because there's no way to make a new custom model from scratch and animate it all in 2 to 3 weeks." So once again, obviously, they didn't provide the resources to do it and expected this person, to do it within 2 to 3 weeks, paying $350. If they just went into it being like, "Oh, yeah, do this 3D animation for $350, and you just have to make a whole model of all of him and possibly other stuff," that's insane. That's insane. $350 to design a 3D model of bbno money, as well as possibly other 3D models. That's going to take forever. Just designing the 3D model itself should cost probably $200. Like that, and I think that's a low ball. So they say, "I'll see if we have one." A day later, they say, "So I spent all night working on this. I have the section of the song picked out and started assembling the assets and playing this sequence. I have in mind a high-action driving scene, with Alex driving a whipped-out warthog with Brazilian Miku and Bao the whale riding along with. I already got permission from Bao to use her model as well, so no concerns there. I just need the 3D model for Alex that was made, as well as a chibi model if one exists, and I can start moving forward with the actual animation process." So they're being very professional. They're saying, "Okay, this is exactly what I want to do. This is whatever." bbno money comes in, says, "What's up? Looks very awesome. I don't really have a model organized, ready to use. Stoked to be in touch." So this person says, "I thought you had a 3D model created by Niku. He didn't send it to anyone on your team. I would reach out to him, but his DMs are closed." I think they're referring to this 3D model here. So they're saying, "Oh, that thing isn't chibi. I'm not sure where it is, TBH. So not helpful at all. He's being way too casual. Not very cool. He said, "That's cool. I just need something. LOL. Can you ask Niku to send you a copy of the .blend file or anything?" And April, can you help by reaching out to Niku? I need some kind of model to animate, or I can't do anything. They said, "Yeah, I'm trying to get to you ASAP." And April sends a .fbx, which is not sufficient, saying that this doesn't have any of the textures or skeleton required to animate. Can you bring Niku and I into the group chat so we can speak to the technical jargon to each other? And April says, "Okay, does this work? Hold on." Sends the blend file and a .pmx. They're also included in the file along with PNG of hair, eyes, body, and clothing. And Slade says, "Perfect. The blend file is exactly what I need, but I need those PNGs." And April sends the PNGs of the body, the clothing, eyes, and I'm assuming the hair. So they say, "I just want to ask, well, you guys said this is going to be in the official music video, right? Because I was wondering how that's going to work if you have all these artists making 1 to 15-second clips." So they say that is not what they're talking about. They weren't doing a music video. It's just an animation that we're going to commission. Now this is day 3. So 2 days after everything has been talked about. So they send the model. They say, "The model you sent me didn't have any animation ready rig or a face skeleton. So I spent all day yesterday setting up custom rigs from scratch and changing the shaders so Alex looks like he matches the scene. With this all done, I'm going to go pass out now. It's 7 a.m. for me, LMAO. But I think we can finally start animating stuff." So bbno Money comes in once again, just says, "This is dope." April says, "Amazing." That's it. A day after, spent today planning out shots and studying reference materials to plan out my shots. Also built the scene you see here in the screenshot and set the initial composition. bbno Money once again just compliments it, says this about to look insane. Another day. This is 4 days after. First pass on animating the first shot. Not gonna lie, the hardest thing about this is trying to figure out how I'm going to squeeze all my ideas into 15-ish seconds. It's already crowded in just the intro alone. So we do not get a single response. About 6 days later, so I think it's about 10 days now into it. Mind you, this is 10 out of 21 days that need to be done. Just a brief update, decided to go back and rework the majority of the shots I'd planned, started polishing the first one now, and added some of the VFX that I'll use in the final version. My goal is to have this completed by Saturday at the latest. We're going to see how long it takes for them to do this. We see here that they say a couple days later on November 7th, which is 13 days after the start day. I know you guys said it's a 2-3 week deadline, but I'm going to need that 3rd week. And they say latest is November 25th. So it's technically, I'm pretty sure that means 4 weeks, or I guess a month. So November 13th, 6 days after. So this is, oh my gosh, this is what, 16 days after the start day. I'm trying to keep in mind here. They say, whenever you finish this, don't post it right away, because I think you're going to hold off on posting animations until the music video comes out, which will be sometime in early December. A week later, so this is already past the 3 weeks, still working on this and track to finish by the 25th deadline. They send a little clip of it. They say, "Okay, I wanted to keep it a surprise until it's all done to show you everything I finished so far, but I have still about 5 seconds of animation left to do. I'm going to try and get it all done in one day to hit the deadline, but this is everything I've got finished so far." I said, worst case scenario, I might need a few more days to finish if that's okay. They said, "We can give you extra days, no big deal. How much longer do you need?" They say 2 to 3 days max. I'll have the full thing finished in the next few hours. They say 2 days later. And they say, "Here you go. Hope you like it." To which there's no response. So they say again, they had the audio engineer whip up some sound effects to go the extra mile. Here's the final version. 2 days later, they come here and say, "Hope you had a good Thanksgiving. Hope you liked the finished animation. Whenever you're ready to send the payment to Redacted through PayPal." And a day later, April opens with the car falling off the cliff. "Haha, this is amazing." Slade says, "I'm glad you like it. I know it's a holiday, but I start to worry. Put too much boob jiggle in there and you guys didn't like it." April says, "It's too late to ask for the jiggle physics to be toned down." And unfortunately, no, because it's already been rendered and everything. And like said, they probably should have replied when they first sent it, but obviously they're not being on top of everything and having quick communication because they were supposed to plan it out. So this is the first sign that they're not really are liking it. by saying they want the jiggle physics to be turned down. And Slade is like, it's still okay to use, even though I can't change it. They said, all good. I'll give you the go when you can post it. 3 days, I think it's 3 days later, or just a couple days later, they respond saying that they'll make sure Alex sees it. And that's when Slade asks about payment, which the artist should never ask, when should I be paid? It should be, I finished it, pay me now. That's easy as that. And they send a form for them to fill out from, assuming, some invoices and accountant stuff. So they say you'll receive an email. It's going to take a while due to our accountants being backed up, but you'll get an email telling you what extra steps to take and if there's a problem with the info that was given. Fortunately, these things take a while and is out of my hands, but I'll answer any questions to the best of my ability if there are any. They say, okay, do you have like an estimate, like days or a week or two? They said, I think a week or so. They have no idea how long it's going to take for this artist to get paid. So mind you, this is December 1st when they fill out the form. So they post here a week later. bbno Money did this post. Obviously, he was joking at the time, but people were kind of genuinely convinced that bbno Money was going to quit making music because of all the negativity and people telling him to stop. So they confirm, is this a stunt? And does this change the collab? And she says, he'll be back in 3 days. Don't stress. Don't tell anyone. I still think it's insane that he would do that, just because it's just another way to get clout. We could expect that he was just kidding, but it's still like, okay, now your fans are going to be like, oh my God, he stopped. So a day later, he goes, I'd figured, just wanted to be sure, when should I expect to be able to post the animation? My audience is starting to get on me about it. So 6 days later, their reply, as of right now, I don't know due to Alex being offline, but I'll give an update when I can. And they say, okay, I also know you said a week or so, but it's been 14 days and I still haven't been paid. Is this normal? I know you said it's a different team that handles accounting. And a day later, says, yes, it's normal. Unfortunately, the process takes forever, even though she was like, it should take a week or so. Also, make sure to check your spam folder as well. They got it, got the email on Sunday, but it must have been a couple days before the fact. So they finished registering, filling out the paperwork, and they received payment a couple days later. A few days later, after Christmas, saying, I hope you all had a good holiday. I'm going to go ahead and post the animation on Tuesday since I haven't heard anything. Especially, remember in your brain, they said early December. We're in after Christmas. So they're saying, just to reiterate, you said it would be at the beginning of this month. I just need to release content for my brand, so I can't wait any longer. 2 days later, they come back and say, hello, we saw that you posted the animation. I'm just giving you a heads up that Alex won't be interacting with the post yet due to being offline. So they say, gotcha, I really wanted to wait like you asked, but it had been so long without hearing anything. And they say, that's okay, that's on me, bro, no worries. So they say here, a couple days later, they say, I just saw the music video, looks awesome. Are you guys still planning on dropping the animation I did soon? And April says, you posted yours already. Can you send the links again so Alex can interact? They said, I'll make a new post talking about the music video so it's topical. So yes, obviously there is some like miscommunication, obviously, because they first of all thought that they were going to put the animation in the music video, and then they also thought that they were going to post the animation on bbno Money's account, which I think that's not overly too crazy of a misunderstanding. If you go on bbno Money's TikToks and stuff like that, you see him usually either just straight up posting the video or duetting the video or whatever. So yes, that makes complete sense. Mind you, this was supposed to be done in the beginning of December. They posted it willingly, like I think it was in the new year or something. And they got a little, like, not really annoyed or anything, but they were like, oh, like, you didn't tell me when to post it, so I'm just going to post it. And they were just like, oh, like, my bad, no worries. So basically, if Slade did not confirm when to post or just decide to post on their own, they probably wouldn't have ever told them to post it. Which is another weird hint to be like, oh, hey, they probably didn't want it. Also, with the amount of time it takes for them to respond, it takes them about a week to respond to this artist who, mind you, is being commissioned. They're being paid. This isn't a fan art. I would get if it was like a fan art situation where they weren't getting paid, they were just doing it willingly to respond like a week between everything. But this is completely commissioned. So they show that they posted it again just so that it was relevant, and this is a day later saying, I really do believe in open and honest communication. So when you told me that Alex is going to interact with my post, and all I see is that he's unfollowed me, it leaves me very confused. Throughout this whole project, you guys only responded positively to the progress, and I kept you updated continuously as I worked on it. You all knew from the jump that I made adult animation, so I can't imagine that's suddenly an issue. I didn't even argue when you guys countered to only offer 50% of my rate because I was hoping that the exposure for animating for Baby No Money would make up for that. So as I believe I was just saying earlier, that these artists were getting blinded to the fact that they were getting lowballed because they could get exposure, right? Which is kind of yes and no, right? It's good, but at the same time, they're not guaranteed to get more commissions out of that, right? That's why I think, yes, you probably shouldn't take anything lower, but like I said, I don't blame them. So they say it took me a whole month of work, and multiple other people even contributed for free because they thought they would also get exposure from this. $350, by the way. $350, and it took them a month to do. Now I know never work exposure is one of the first rules of being a creative, but I figured with Alex's pro artist stance being so publicly apparent that it would really be beneficial and fun to show people that adult animation artists can do more than just adult animation. I'm just really confused because it feels like the words and actions aren't aligning. If I did something wrong, please at least let me know so I don't make a similar mistake in the future. So 2 days later, we see them say again, I just have to say, after all this, it's incredibly disappointing that you only left a comment under the post instead of retweeting like you have with other animations, despite the claim that it was one of your favorites. I get it, you're ashamed of associating with an NSFW artist. I just wish you hadn't hired me for half my rate in the first place. So there are more responses here, and we're going to go into that. We're going to look at these screenshots here. This is like direct DMs with April instead of the actual group chat. So February 7th, which is when they posted the video, they say, okay, April, level with me. What's going on? Because I've been checking, and the only thing that's happened today is that Alex unfollowed me. What's the problem? You guys said you liked the animation. Saying, I'm sorry about Alex not interacting with the animation, yet we were doing a bunch of different things. I'll make sure he gets to it today, and we did love the animation. Slade says, okay, but he unfollowed me yesterday. April says, I'm sorry, but it seems like he didn't due to him not interacting with it yet. Yes, he told me about that. He didn't realize you were an NSFW account. One of the first things said in this group chat is, I'm really excited to work on this project, so I'm happy to take a lower rate for the chance to work on something that isn't adult content. But I'm sure if you go to this person's Twitter, and I'm not going to open it because it is stuff that should not be on YouTube, but if I'm sure that if they went to this person's Twitter, they would immediately see NSFW content. This should not have been a hypothetical. They say, with that, he unfollowed you. It's nothing personal and absolutely does think you're a dope-ass artist. You were one of his favorite animations during this roll out of CDP. Come to Brazil, I'm assuming, animations. I apologize. There should have been a heads up or something, and I also understand your frustration. So that was all that we get to see. Oh, here's some more DMs. Oh my gosh. We're going to be seeing a few different things here. Also, here's a proof from the jump of me telling him that I animate adult content and can do more just that. So October 23rd, this is 2 days before them starting, they say, also, I can animate more than adult content if you want to discuss that. The first thing I animated ever was this anime intro. They said, yo, what's good? They said, let's talk, man. What can I do for you? It would be an honor. I can animate you into your favorite anime intro with cute anime girls. They say, hello, what's your typical for a commission? I'm looking for an anime video to my song Come to Brazil, storyboard plus chibi. Stuff like that. Did you at least get paid? They said they did, as we kind of went over the fact that they did end up getting paid. And they said, and before anyone says, well, you said you were fine with taking a lower rate, already said that. They did say that money isn't the real issue. But honestly, I would take that it's the issue. They said, I told them I don't mind working for a slightly lower rate if it meant I could be promoting about something other than adult content. It's just about the disrespecting ghosting. It was entirely unprofessional. If we saw every single response Baby No Money was providing, unprofessional as hell. Way too unprofessional. Way too unprofessional. So we go into some more stuff here. What's this? So this is bbno Money going over the commission stuff. So the storyboard plus Chibi, me in it, or something cute funny. This is the TikTok audio, but you can use whatever you want. We're basically going an MFN deal, same deals with everyone, where I'll repost and engage with your video. Hope to hear back from you. Due date ASAP, no longer than 3 weeks kind of thing. So basically saying straight up, this is a deal where he reposts and engages with the video. We just saw that there was, alleged that he did not do that. This whole situation is insane. It's insane, and it's crazy that we aren't hearing about this. We aren't hearing about how bbno Money is completely unprofessional with paying artists, lowballing them, mind you, and then talking about how he's doing so great commissioning other artists and getting rid of AI art. You're not paying them enough to be able to pay rent. Insane. So basically, that's most of what I have to talk about.
Hey guys, Future Channing here. I was doing some searching, so I just wanted to show you guys some stuff here. I was searching through Slade's Twitter instead of just kind of looking through the replies, and I've noticed they've been posting quite a bit. In February 22nd, my birthday actually, funny enough, there was a whole other thing here that I wanted to go over. Everything else was more of like Slade just keeps calling out bbno Money, saying like respond, or like talking about other stuff, but this really pointed out here. So this artist here says, I was commissioned for his Come to Brazil. I think it was unfair how many artists were being treated selectively. It made me sad and disappointed because I was so excited getting commissioned by him. Just to see that in the end, it was just a performative act. And ones that do numbers were the only ones he interacted with, like shared it in his stories and commented on even in his main account. Meanwhile, I saw other small artists that he commissioned getting ignored and brushed it off as a collab on his alt account in IG with no comment. Barely interaction, my part wasn't reposted, not even commented on my posts on Twitter, just a like, and it truly hurts me because I felt ignored, that my animation just wasn't it, that I didn't do good. It was just sad. And then as my pink colored glasses fade off, his actions started appearing more performative as I see him repeating that whole anti-AI speech. I just could tell that it would made me feel ashamed to be part of his song, which felt it was filled with a bunch of Brazil stereotypes, and that's my fault. I was so unsure about the song when I first listened to it because I'm not Brazilian. So I was like, I don't think I'm the right artist to animate this because I didn't want to animate something that might come wrong, but I was still excited because I looked up to him. But in the end, I felt like I was pushed aside, like it was trash, or felt ashamed of my animation for him to comment or repost, even if it was a commission and collab, not just a random fan making fan content. I just didn't like this experience at all. So that's their story here. So that's what, 4 people that we've heard of so far that claim that, including Slade, there's Ray Same, and Bug, right? So we're going to go into here about this new story that they're talking about. So I see that your reps also don't give a fuck when a small artist tells you guys no, she's busy and she doesn't want to work for a massively undercut rate, repeatedly pestering her to take less money when she's commissioned to support her family. So let's take a look at these emails here. So there's this guy named Vasily. He's a representative of Broke Records, which we're going to try and assume this is legitimate, obviously. We're going to assume, we're still going to leave it out in the open, be like, okay, is Vasily a real representative of Baby? But they say, I was wondering how much are you charging for music promo? The point of cooperation is simple. Creator makes usual content with their songs. And animation, we're looking right now, all kind of animations for bbno Money's music. So this person replies, is there any deadline? If so, I might not be able to accept since I still have commissions to do. My price range is up to 250 to 300 USD. Let me know what you think. So they say, let's do a bundle for 7 videos, each for a different bbno Money song. How much would it be? How much time do you need? So first of all, 7 videos? That's insane. My God. So I'm going to keep looking. I'll be sending in my decision once I'm done with my comms. It might take 3 days to respond back. They respond, 13 days later, first, which arguably, yeah, probably should have responded. They go, I need to updates, and then I'm assuming that's the 26th, so 3 days later, they're following up. And then 27th, so this is 17 days later, they say, I'm going to have to decline, so sorry for letting you wait. And this person says, is it the same? Wanted to check in. So first of all, yes, this person, whoever this artist is, probably should have let them know no instead of ghosting them. But it is really weird that this Vasily person is still being persistent. So they would say, unfortunately, yes, it is. I've been very busy with personal stuff. Might not be able to deliver the post the animations on time. They said, wanted to see if anything changed. Again. So back to the 10th of December, this is their actual conversation. So how much are you willing to pay? Well, I think I can finish all my unfinished commissions in a week, but do you have a fixed deadline? How much time are you willing to give me? My understanding is correct. It'd be $1,500 for 7 animations. Could we do 900 in total? Think about that for a quick second. So they said $1,500 overall for 7 animations. That's like $200 and some change. And $900 for 7 animations. That is what, like $130? So they're offering $600 less. That is insane. That is not half. Obviously, it's not as bad as what they offered Slade. But then again, it's still $600 less. That is like pretty much just almost before half, right? And they said you can have 5 to 6 days to post each. Interesting. And then they say, I think we should up it a bit more. I really value my art, maybe $1,250. If you agree, what do you think? So that's, you know what? That's understandable because they're going right in the middle. And they say it's a bit too much for us given our budget. $950 is really the maximum. I can do plus 50 for every 500k views. $50 for every 500,000 views. Where are we posting this? If they're a famous artist, sure, they'll get millions. Dude, it's bbno money. It's not like fucking Disney, dude. Come on. They said, sorry, I'll have to decline. So that was, if we try and sort through here, because like I said, it's really strange. So they say, sorry, I'll decline. They said, what about 1K plus 75 bonus for every 500k views? First of all, let's say every video gets 500k. That's 7. So we're looking at, yes, maybe it could be $1,500. But this is so sketchy. Very, very, very sketchy. They're offering, because they're so desperate, they're offering the commission of what was 900. Now they up to 1K because they're so desperate. To now they're trying to offer like a commission, like a, not like a artist commission, but more of like a view commission. That is so sketchy because you can't really confirm that, you know, because once you get to 500,000, you're gonna have to contact this person and be like, hey, I got that, please send the 75. That it's not immediate. They would have to wait until all 7 videos hit those 500,000 for that 75, which then it, like I said, it would equal out to be the 1,500. But that's just not how that works here. So anyways, I'm assuming after this was when this photo came. So the decision, they ghosted, because I'm assuming they, from what I just understood from this photo, because like I said, it is out of order, it looks like they tried to keep talking them out of it, but it wasn't happening. So they said, you know what, I'll just ghost them. But they just got worse. They update, following up, still the same. Wanted to check in, wanted to see if anything changed. It's really bad. So let's keep looking. So this is a conversation with something else. I'm assuming it might be the same person. I'm not entirely too sure. I'm reaching out on behalf of our client Baby No Money as we have a song called ADD that will be coming out on October 7th with commission animation meme. They say, hello, can I know more details? My pricing is 250 300. Okay, so this must be the same exact person, right? Just a different representative. Which, mind you, this is coming across as these are scammers. This isn't actually Baby No Money. So they say, of course, in the past, the animations of commission are typically around 30 seconds. So they say 175. So not good. They said, I'm going to have to decline. I do commissions to feed my siblings, not for engagement. So from the assumption here, I want to assume that it's either like scams, because maybe Vasily isn't a real person, and same thing as Sandro. Either way, if this is real, if two different representatives for Baby No Money is contacting this anonymous artist, then that is obviously more evidence of the lowballing, right? But like I said, that first of all, it's anonymous, so we don't have the credit. Second of all, we don't necessarily know guaranteed, like how we saw the DMs where Baby No Money was in the conversation, right? So I'm just going to keep looking around to see if I can find anything else before I finish editing this video. So this is another thing that I found. Last thing, this was before the whole conversation that we just read here. But Slade is saying supposedly that Baby No Money reached out to attempt to apologize and pay them off to squash the beef. Which, mind you, what? Pay me off? I told him I didn't want the money or recognition, but instead just for him to acknowledge and apologize for the NSFW community. Here's my statement. So, first of all, we don't know if they actually did reach out to apologize. Obviously, I don't think, like, Baby No Money reaching out to attempt to apologize, I feel like wouldn't necessarily be a lie, but I say, and pay me off to squash the beef, I feel like that is, I'm skeptical about that, right? So we read here, can't believe it took you this long. Communication is really poor. Another 350 isn't the issue. So they're saying, they're providing the kind of context that they, Baby No Money offered to pay them the other 350, which, excuse me, you're telling me, if this is true, obviously, because like I said, I'm not going on, oh my god, this and this and this. No, I'm like, okay, only if there's evidence, right? So this, if there was another 350, then yes, he probably should just gave the guy the 700. I've mentioned to you in April several times that my main work isn't adult content, so I'm not sure how you missed that. I appreciate the personal apology. It seems somewhat genuine, but it feels like it mostly because the situation has received more attention. So again, just address the issue. You can reuse what you already told me. No need to tag me or share my animation. We can consider it resolved. Right now, I'm not really concerned about the money. That is pretty much it now. That's all that I can find. So it's just them making a statement saying that Baby No Money supposedly was like, oh, I'll give you the other 350, sorry, blah, blah, blah. Okay, first of all, if that's true, should have just paid them the original money because obviously you have the money to pay them. Second of all, this wouldn't have happened if you would just listen to the artists, because it seems like every time this happens, the artists either say, oh, that's actually kind of low, or they offer and then they get lowballed, right? So the artists are acknowledging that it is lower, just some of them are taking it and some of them are not, right? So that's all I have to say here. Back to past Channing for the outro. All right, so that's going to be everything for the video today about Baby No Money and milking for content and not paying artists and such like that. I think it's something that really should be talked about. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment, tell me about what you think about it, whether you agree, disagree, you know of something else that happened. So check out my content. I'm working on some more videos. I'll put the video up on screen of my burger mogging video and my iron lung video. See you guys next time.